Hello, my name is Ira Love. I am the Federal Programs Coordinator for the Hope, Arkansas School District. I have been in this current position for almost 20 years, and it's been a challenge at times as things have transgressed from one point to another as far as the financial accountability system and what we're responsible for. When I first took this job, the job was more programmatic as far as this position went. Uh, the federal funds coordinator hired reading teachers, for example, and placed them on certain campuses, uh, hired paraprofessionals and put them on campus. The principal had very little say so in that process. With that, the principals didn't feel any responsibility as far as the effectiveness of those positions and the people in them within their building. That transformed with the beginning of the ASIP process, the school improvement process. Several years ago, this position began to be more and more financial and accounting related than it was programmatic related. With that, we began to give the principals more autonomy in managing the money and resources on their buildings, rather than it being determined by the central office personnel. That was a difficult transition to make because it had been the opposite for so long, and many principals rejected the idea that they should be the ones to manage the personnel. They should be the ones to determine which financial resources would go to support what activity in their building. With that, in Hope, we basically use a purchasing procedure where through a program called Talent Ed, the principal will submit a requisition, and that requisition electronically will come to me. If it's federal programs, I will review the purchase as far as if it follows the rules of that particular fund and make sure that the purchase is reasonable and necessary in accordance with federal guidance. That process is also used for the categorical funds, NSLA, PD State, ELL, and ALE funds are maintained at the district level and managed from here to support those particular activities. But the other NSL, A, and PD State are managed at the building level with oversight at this particular office as well as the superintendent's office, as well as the district business manager. But after the requisition goes through the approval process, which involves those 3 or 4 or 5 people, then the requisition becomes a purchase order, and the purchase is made. The invoice ultimately comes back through that same procedure, and payment is made to the company. With that, the principals have quite a bit of autonomy in determining what their funds are spent on. Each year, at the beginning of the year, the business office will tell the building principals how much money they have to budget in each categorical fund. I will tell the building principals how much money they have for Title I, Title IIA, and Title VI. They in turn will give me a program summary of how they plan to use the money. Of course, we can amend as we go along, but they have that decision making authority. But they're expected to have those discussions with their school leadership team to determine what's best for the building. Oftentimes, principals think that they have all the answers, and a lot of times they run out of relevant ways to spend the money. With that leadership team and the minutes to document the discussions and conversations, they're able to come up with suitable methods for money usage. One of the issues that principals often have is their knowledge of organization, and prioritizing, getting the information to us, the plans and the program summary to my office so that I can approve it. Principals are so burdened with responsibilities from all different sources that making uh, the purchase process and the planning that goes into purchasing a priority is very difficult, and it often gets lost in the process of everything that they have to deal with on a daily basis. But through my periodic encouragement, they ultimately do get things to me by October 1 so that I can get it submitted to the Arkansas Department of Education for their review and approval. Some qualities that would help principals in dealing with budgeting at the building level. I think organization. I think a general knowledge of some computer systems such as Excel to help them track the amount of money that they spent, to know what's left, and basically having time to communicate with my office so that they can make sure that we and they are on the same accord.